Yeah, absolutely. Let's see if VJ here has actually won the dice roll, which will be pretty important. Doesn't look like it, though, based on the... Yeah, there it is. Ooh, starting with Ostinato here. Yes, we already provided some Melodious gameplay for you already, but it's nice to see Melodious regardless as something that is somewhat a little bit underrepresented compared to... Snake Eye, at least, which for tomorrow in day 2, we'll most likely be seeing quite a significant amount of that, won't we?
You never know. It could be Lightsworn dominating the top cut.
Absolutely.
Along with Melodious.
You know what? It's just like the raw numbers of them entering that hasn't allowed it to become as dominant, I think, right? Just the conversion rate's going to be 100% though. Into top cut.
I mean, we haven't got any sort of official stats on it yet, but having had a look through the top tables, I'm seeing an awful lot of 10 pi as well. It's
pretty diverse, all things considered. Yeah, I'm not sure we're going to be seeing YCS indie numbers, to be fair. You know, of, gosh, 24, 25 out of 32 top cut spots. There is quite a significant spread still available. I don't know if that's just like the generic sort of flip-flop nature of the meta going between best deck to anti-meta deck, etc. But yeah, it's quite varied here. We've seen all kinds of things on stream. There's a lot of 10 pi, as you mentioned.
I mean, I'm all for it. It's nice to have a variety of decks. It's nice to, you know, have lots of different decks to have a look at, see how they do. Also, new decks coming out. You know, these Lightsworn cards are still very recent, as are the Melodious cards. So not only are people innovating with old decks, but they're also seeing how the new cards can be used with those decks.
Yeah, absolutely. Adam's showing us our first turn Melodious combo here with just Ostinato. And remember, Ostinato is the one that actually doesn't lock you, which I find interesting because at some point here I think there should have been like an Apollosa, but this is like, I guess, going for a purer version of the Melodious combo.
Yeah, it seems strange because Ostinato is clearly like better than first movement solo, but has less of a restriction.
I think it's interesting because there's like different adaptations, even just this weekend that we've seen on stream, of the just the different ways that people have been playing these decks and building them.
This looks very like pure, and you see, I've heard other players maybe mixing in a couple of other engines. But this list we're looking at, it seems like you're really focused on just resolving your core Melodious combos and then maybe backing it up with a bunch of hand traps. VJ just having a look there, he's like, what, that banishes 3 cards from my graveyard, but I'm playing Lightsworn. I mean, he probably didn't say that bit out loud, but, you know, that doesn't sound like what you want as a Lightsworn player.
Yeah, that's going to be quite a significant amount of disruption depending on what you mill here. But I think that should be quite easily baitable with a Charge the Light Brigade hitting 3 wolves, you know?
I was thinking that. Charge, hit 3 wolves.
I don't know if you even want to hit 3 wolves in that scenario, right? Against Schuberta.
You might as well just hit 2.
You get like full value that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool because you know, like I said, Melodious has been played in kind of different ways, and I'm not gonna lie, every time like someone activates the fusion, or rather like the concerto, I suppose, and then goes and uses the scale, that will always jump scare me. I'm not gonna lie.
Why, you don't like the scale?
We've come a long way, you know, fusing with pendulum scales.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite cool. It's nice that, you know, there's some, like, it's got both fusions and pendulums. Aren't that many archetypes that could say that these days?
DDD.
DDD.
Yeah.
And Lunar Lights.
Do enjoy a bit of that. Odd Eyes.
Yeah.
You ever played
They're more of a pendulum, but I suppose they do have a couple. It's like, that's more like a pendulum with a fusion. I suppose this is more of a fusion with a couple of pendulum cards.
Ah, interesting. Yeah, that's one way to look at it. Not a great prosperity, actually. That's really rough. I suppose like the Imperm is good enough. Yeah, so doing the classic, I'm going to make my full combo field here, and then afterwards, I'm going to dig deep after removing all of those pieces out of my deck and find some defensive cards here.
Was that a Soprano that
yeah,
you picked up? Not
actually
the Imperm?
Just didn't go for the Imperm in the end. He actually picked it up initially and then put it back, so I don't know. Maybe we're trying to go for... Does Soprano give you an extension, or is it just follow-up?
I'm not sure. I mean, Prosper into Imperm just feels rubbish. You know, it's just, you can't just take Imperm going. It's so mediocre when you're going first. It's absolutely incredible going second. But I just I can't, you know, activate Prosperity and then pick it going first.
Yeah.
It just would upset me.
All right. Well, I mean, this is a lot of Melodious monsters.
It's just
here.
another Schuberta. Yeah, okay. Maybe he knows what's up. Maybe he knows the jig that he's playing against Lightsworn and he's just going to put out 2 Schuberta.
Is it not once per turn?
No, it's once while it's on the field.
Well, this copy's on the field, I guess.
Yeah. So if you banish it, you can do it again.
God,
You can just banish your opponent's entire soul. Really put them in the shadow realm. You can banish 3 more, and then banish your whole field, and then it all comes back, and you can do it again.
That's just terrible for Lightsworn. I'm not gonna lie. Okay then. Well, we'll see what VJ does to get out of this situation here.
It
Drop
can't
a turn,
be targeted, but you know what doesn't target?
Go on.
Judgment Dragon.
Judgment Dragon.
There we go. Somehow you got to get your 4 Lightsworns engraved first, though.
He's not playing Judgment Dragon. He's playing Punishment Dragon.
Ah.
Which is actually good, though, to be fair, because going to try and compose some destruction with this Lightsworn deck.
What are the Lightsworn cards named after? Pop quiz. I mean, I have no idea.
I'm not sure, actually. Lila, Raiden, Angels, I think, actually. There's Michael, the Arch Lightsworn, I think. I'm pretty sure that's it, actually.
I've never seen this combo in my life, but I'm definitely here for it.
Regain
Allure. Banish a dark, shuffle it back, draw a card. Happy days.
Basically Pot of Greed.
Or you could discard your whole hand. That's also a possibility.
Blind Alluring, yeah. What happens if your opponent Lancia's your Allure?
Nothing.
That's a good point, yeah.
Well, you get to draw 2.
I had a friend of mine who discarded their whole hand.
Yeah, it's not super obvious. Was that an ogre?
Ghost Ogre to destroy the face-up continuous effect of Branded Regained.
That's devastating. I love Branded Regained. I don't want to see it destroyed. I want to resolve it.
I don't know if it's devastating, right?
It's emotionally devastating.
Psychic damage has been inflicted here as we go for Seti.
It is a sidekick.
Yeah, exactly. King Sarcophagus added with Seti here. Don't forget the draw as well, which gives you some way of recurring that advantage.
I guess if you ogre the regained and then your opponent plays King Sarcophagus, you feel like a bit of a... You've been had, you know? They got me.
I'd love to see what we discarded with Seti, because if it's a Lightsworn, it's kind of relevant, because we could have Dragonling in the hands. But it looks like we're just going to go... By the way, Ghost Ogre, this is what you want to ogre. Right there. Ooh, discards Weiss. So we do have a Lightsworn in the grave now. If we have Dragonling in hand, or we could just try and just get to Dragonling here, most likely with a Zombie Vampire.
So now we've got 2 Horus cards already?
Yeah, we had Happy. I think it was discarded, or... I think it was discarded off the...
And is it time for a zombie vampire?
I think so, right? If you have a way to keep playing, Photon Lord is really nice to insulate you against potential Nibiru. But generally, yeah, just going for full-on gas like this is strong. There's nothing good to really mill, I think, in Melodious as much. That you're at least not enough to really warrant you not milling, if you know what I mean, like weighing up those pros and cons. Definitely not compared to Labyrinth anyway.
I know, Labyrinth, that well-known graveyard-oriented deck.
All right. Oh, big imperm here, actually. That's really powerful. Oh, and this is the thing with Lightsworn is... Oh, no, there's no way. Do we draw Dragonling? Our normal summon Raiden. Take me back. Take me back. Bestial Labellion. And what is that? A Protoss. Interesting. Okay. You can actually side deck Protoss because you can get to it through the Infernal Banshee.
That's very cool.
Yeah, this is really rough, though. I mean, you can't extend much from here. I feel like this is why I'm so confused as to, you know... VJ's...
Oh, that is a Dragonling. Here we go.
This just didn't do anything. That's incredible.
Is the Dragonling a tuner or a non-tuner?
No, you send Fellas.
This is amazing.
Yeah, so you have a Lightsworn in grave, which we did manage to mill. We got the Vice in the grave from the discard, which allows you to use the summoning condition Dragonling, special summoning itself from the hand. Then on special summon, it gets to send a Lightsworn from deck to the grave. You send Fellas because it's your tuner. Now you have a 4 and a 4 to go into a very familiar monster. Minerva, but has taken on a new shape as a synchro version, which now gets to
Just send 2 Lightsworn. It's just an incredible card, this.
Yeah, so it sends Lightsworns up to the number of Lightsworn materials used for its Synchro Summon, which I think is one of the balancing acts from preventing just any deck to use this.
But like you use 2 Lightsworns, like you get 2 back, and then you get to mill 4. Like
yeah, it's absolutely phenomenal. Like it's a custom card.
Yeah, it's bonkers.
Yeah, so you send a beast. They have to be different typings. So you send a Beast Warrior, either Felis or Wolf, depending on which one you have or have not triggered that turn, and then the Vice brings back the opposite that you're missing. So usually the Tuner access here, and Raiden is actually really good as Tuner access here. Is if I don't know if we can actually get to. Well, typically it is a hand loop deck, as you can see why we are making Omega. If you get a level 6 on the field here, which is possible potentially with would Minerva get you a 6? Not really. And a 6 and a 4 usually goes Dissipator, then Dissipator brings back the Omega, and you do it again.
So you get to mill some number of cards. Was that 5 he banished?
It's up to 4. So you banish 4 Lightsworns and then mill that many.
What can you mill at this point?
Nothing, it looks like. Just more wolves and
Safer would have been the best, actually, right? Because if you mill Safer...
Safer, add back Lebellion would be sick.
If there's a Lebellion.
Which is why I like the heavier dragon version. Because VJ's actually playing like a... I mean, it's still pretty heavy on dragons, but he's only playing 2 Lebellion. He only plays 1 Sefer. I don't think he plays the Chaos Dragons. Wyvern Burster and... Collapse Serpent. I actually don't see. Am I?
No, I think you're right. I can't see them either.
Yeah, so he's a little less on the dragon portion of the deck here, and I think kind of just plays just more Lightsworns.
I'm definitely here for more Lightsworns. You know, that's what we're all about.
So not milling too great with the Minerva, all things considered. It's really unfortunate as well that we drew the Punishment Dragon, because Dragonling is even crazier than you think, because normally you go with the Synchro Summon of Minerva, you Synchro with Minerva and the Dragonling. Minerva's Chainlink 1, Dragonlink is Chainlink 2. Dragonling adds the Punishment, or JD, depending on what you play. And then that gives you a level 8 body, which means worst case scenario, Minerva gets to mill 4, and then you have a level 8 that you can special summon, in this case Punishment Dragon, because you would banish 4, and you would have 4 names banished for Punishment Dragon summon. Okay, great, we've drawn a second Imperm.
Another Imperm, and then Ostinato to seal the deal. Oh, Prosp.
Yeah, so you would get back the Punishment Dragon from the Dragonling, and then that lets you go into Photon Lord, or to continue with the Zombie Vampire, for example. So, yeah, Minerva is absolutely incredible. Like Dragonling is where it roots from, but yeah, it's super strong. But yeah, Prosperity. I mean, we've just turned off everything here. It's really sad. I feel like VJ just got out disrupted here. There's a Talents, which is kind of dead here. There's a first movement solo, and it looks like we are going for it. Yeah, first movement solo is, I suppose, the missing piece of the puzzle here that he needed for the engine portion, as we did draw a decent amount of disruption.
Yeah, there was a ton of non-engine there, right? There were 2 Imperms.
And the Ghost Ogre for the Regained, which wasn't incredible, but not putting back the Punishment Dragon felt like it must have hurt a little bit.
Well, it just would. He would have drawn a card. It would have been this, like, drawn an extra card and got the Punishment Dragon off of the Dragonling.
Imperm for turn is so powerful. Can't be understated how good that was there, because the only disruption that VJ even had remaining was SP, which, I don't know, do you think a first movement solo can play through just an SP?
I think it probably can, but, you know, I'd rather not.
I'd rather not have to ask that question.
But yeah, this is now looking very good for Adam. I mean, there's that feeling once you've answered all of your opponent's cards, and then you just get to start doing your own thing, and you play one first movement solo, and you accrue a colossal amount of advantage. You just kind of, you feel like the game's just swinging in your favor so massively.
Swinging indeed, as we set the scales. We haven't seen a Pendulum Summon yet today, I think, from Melodious.
Yeah, there were a few. It's not like as big in Melodious, because you kind of do it at the end.
It isn't as flashy.
But it's still there. It's a nice way of getting your Aria. Special summon.
Summoning back, adding back. Do we have OTK lines in Melodious?
It's a bit harder, because a lot of them get summoned in defense mode of different things, like Baka summons in defense. but I mean, I'm not even sure you need to. Like, what's going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem, right? A deck like Lightsworn, like usually when you break the field, there's not a lot left. Worst case scenario, they can go like Zephyr, banish, add back a Levianeer maybe from the graveyard. Top decking Dragonling maybe, but at that point we've already used Minerva.
And like there's going to be Schuberta.
And Schuberta as well.
Like this is devastating because as we mentioned before, like you're going to activate Schuberta, banish 3, and then just use Etoile for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then just do it again during your opponent's next turn. So he's going to lose 6 cards out of his graveyard.
Absolutely.
Which is an awful lot. And there's going to even be 2 Schubertas. Oh no, he's going to banish like the whole graveyard. This is brutal.
Yeah, I mean, like, all of your follow-up, if any, because it's a glass cannon. That's kind of how Lightsworn sort of has always functioned in some ways. So once you shatter it, it's kind of over. But even further than that, any follow-up you do have comes from your grave, and as you mentioned,
it's gonna go. Like this is not nice to watch. It makes your Lightsworn player in your heart cringe. You're gonna watch like maybe up to 12 cards being banished.
Yeah, it's just like a mini soul release.
It's a big soul release.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen twice as a quick effect. Like,
wait, is that it? It's just gone already? No. Yeah, there's still some left here. Okay.
Yeah, but I think that's. I mean, I don't know if he's gonna make a second one. But like at least 6 cards are going to be gone. Yeah. And it's going to be 3 every turn, basically.
Graveyard disruption like this is rarely like, game winning against a lot of decks, just because, some decks aren't super graveyard reliant sometimes. Like even Snake Eye, you kind of have to use it at like the right time. But against this deck, I mean, it's... Gosh.
A lot of time it's just kind of the icing on the cake, but
yeah, exactly.
It's very good for grind games. Like it looks kind of innocent, banish 3. You think, well, that doesn't deal with anything that I currently have on the field, but sometimes banishing someone's entire graveyard can really stuff them up with no resources left, unless your opponent's playing Cashed Hero.
It's usually where a lot of the follow-up comes from.
And then back comes Schuberta.
And the King Sark in the hand here is whatever. You discard and send with the King Sark, and then you just banish it all again anyway.
Because I'd almost rather leave it on the field, but...
Okay, yeah, the Omega does come back this turn, to be fair. So 1 level 8 Synchro Body. Could attack over the Schuberta, maybe, before, like...
I can't remember the full stat. Oh, it can't be destroyed by battle, actually, so...
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Because of the aria.
Oh, true. Yeah, it's like, can be targeted, can be destroyed... all of these things are protected, right? You can only attack like the highest attack one or something as well, I believe.
Oh, I'm not sure about that, but it can't be targeted or destroyed by battle. It can be destroyed by card effects, but
it's a very resilient field, basically.
Yeah, I mean, especially in a sort of simplified game like this.
VJ's thinking, might as well. There isn't really much point in scooping, but let's try and do something here. We know there's a King Sark, and I mean... Where does this really get you?
Yeah,
activate
you just,
King Sark,
and then you resolve it, and then your graveyard just gets banished again.
Yeah, you activate this, discard, send. Surely not, right? Must be trying to like commit to a normal summon or something. I mean, I can't think of what would be a good top deck here.
You could even bounce the King Sark in response if you really wanted. Like,
yep, on resolution. King Sark, discard King Sark is just kind of nothing, right? And then look at this. Definitely going to use immediately use the effect of the Schuberta, get rid of, is that an Emseti or? Doesn't really matter. It's a Horus monster, which are the only relevant cards here for VJ. Plus we can get rid of, what else was that? Nothing relevant. Oh, there's that Super Agent, by the way, that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, I feel like, like you said, you just want extra level 4 extenders, so I don't know what's wrong with Collapse 7 and Wyvern Buster. They're like really good level 4 extenders, but...
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about VJ's deck earlier, and something we noticed is like there's like a Tear Lament Shiren, there's a Spiral Super Agent, and like the logic seems like you just want more level 4s to try get to Minerva to just keep milling, keep extending. But not playing the Collapse Serpent Wyvern Burster feels like... Just not ideal.
I mean, I guess the downside is if you haven't got going yet, you can't use them because you don't have anything in the grave.
That's always the risk, is like the setup with Chaos Monsters.
And I think this is going to be 8,000. Like I think the Sonata bumps everything by 500 as well. So
that is a lot, and good games.